Author Mary Lou Casey once wrote, "What people really need is a good listening to." In her textbook, Interpersonal Communications, author Corey Floyd shares this quote to convey that we can greatly improve our interpersonal relationships when we train our listening skills. Today, I would like to talk about how we can improve our listening skills by becoming better empathetic listeners. Empathy is defined in our textbook Interpersonal Communications as putting oneself in another's position and thinking and feeling as that person does. Empathy is not to be confused by sympathy, which is when we feel sorry for another person from a distance. Empathy is certainly a deeper connection to others, and it is important to understand that even if we feel empathy for another person, we may not be communicating it well. So, how can we improve our listening skills in order to show empathy? On page 247, Floyd teaches 3 strategies that we can practice in order to improve. The first strategy is to listen non-judgmentally. The second one is to acknowledge the other person's emotions. And the third is to use our nonverbal communication in order to convey empathy. To learn how to listen non-judgmentally, we must keep an open mind. The goal is to understand the emotions and situation that the speaker is experiencing. We do this by listening without interrupting. We want to provide as much opportunity for the speaker to express themselves as much as they need to. The next thing that we must not do, rather, is not to give advice unless asked. It is hard to listen to the issues from people we care about, but we must keep in mind that we're just a listening ear, there to understand and provide support for the speaker. The next strategy for becoming a better empathetic listener is to acknowledge the speaker's feelings. According to Floyd, the goal here is to acknowledge the other person's emotions and also to encourage them to continue to express them. We do this by making use of continuous statements. These are phrases that identify the emotion that the speaker is experiencing and also allows the speaker to communicate them further. For a person who just lost their job and is feeling anxious and uncertain, a continuous statement would be something like, "You must be feeling anxious during this uncertain time." On the other hand, Floyd states that we must avoid terminator statements. These are the opposite. Phrases that do not acknowledge the speaker's emotions and shut down any opportunity for them to be expressed. For that same person that lost their job, a terminator statement would be something like, "Sometimes that's just the way it is." The last strategy for becoming a better empathetic listener is by using nonverbal communication. We could choose nonverbal behaviors to express interest, understanding, and empathy. The first one in order of importance is eye contact. We want to convey to the other person that we're paying attention and we're not getting distracted by our surrounding environment. The second thing that we can do is use our facial expressions. Make a sad face if you're feeling sad, or nod in understanding, or give a reassuring smile, for example. And lastly, we can use warm touch to convey that we deeply care. A shoulder squeeze or an arm squeeze, and if you know the person well, sometimes a hug will make all the difference. So, in conclusion, feeling empathy takes some effort because it goes beyond just feeling sorry for another person. And also, feeling empathy isn't the same as communicating it. But if we practice these strategies of suspending judgment, acknowledging the speaker's feelings, and using nonverbal communication, we will become better empathetic listeners and increase our chances to show understanding and support for others, which in the long run will greatly improve our interpersonal relationships.